Here we go, we've got a nice slow build up here to things. The French Billy Besson, nicely positioned. Ben Ainsley's very aggressive down there. Will he be able to squeeze in? But my eyes are on Nathan Outridge on the Japanese boat. He's caught himself a long way from the line. That's Draper, he's talking to Chris Draper there. Can we get behind him? He's trying to build speed, trying to get foiling, but it's Ben Ainsley on the British boat, Billy Besson, hometown hero, and in the background, in there, comes Peter Burling, already on the foils, diving for a gap. Can he find his way through the Kiwi boat? Peter Burling, he's on the foils, but he's struggling to find wind. It's a brilliant start from Besson, tight at the top for the Danish crew. Besson, Burling and Ainsley win that start for me.
And up and foiling here in race number 1 at France Sail Grand Prix from Saint-Tropez. It's a 3-boat race right now as they make their way to mark number 1, and it looks like the Kiwis on the inside have the best position.
It's a perfect start, and on the inside it's Peter Burling. That's Ben Ainsley there, the voice of Ben Ainsley, talking about an early jibe. He clearly sees wind the other way. A chance to split at mark number 1. You can carry on or you can jibe and try and find wind on the other side. A split here from Ben Ainsley. Be interesting to see what happens as the Kiwi crew set up to jibe as well. That voice there of Ian Jensen, he's steering the boat after the jibe. There's a split on the course now, and they'll be looking for opportunity, but it's a good jibe by Burling and Tuke as we come back on with the British crew. 3 on the boat, they're multitasking out there today.
And no question about there. You see the wind right at 18 kilometers an hour. So it is New Zealand, Great Britain, and France. And you see the rest of the fleet on the backside, Stevie and Freddie, they are having all kinds of issues.
Probably not going to make it at 1. Probably right there.
That's Peter Burling talking to Blair Tuke. Doesn't think he can make the gate without another jibe, so they're going to have to try and minimise these manoeuvres. Of course, pressure on this New Zealand crew. They really need to make a move if they're going to move up that overall standings to try and make the top 3 position by the end of season 2.
And what we've seen with New Zealand over the first 4 events of the season, they've started well, and we rank that with how they get to mark 1. But they are the worst in the fleet at moving back throughout the race. They're ranked 8th overall there. They cannot hold their positions. Let's see if they can hold their position of first place here.
Well, they've got a nice lead right now, coming up on 60 meters ahead of Great Britain in 2nd, France in 3rd. But then look at the drop-off. Back to Japan, Denmark, the USA more than 700 meters back.
That was the voice of Blair Tuke telling us that the British have jibed as well. It looks to me like the Kiwis have jibed very late there. It's going to be tight. Can Ben Ainsley find his way down to the mark on the British boat and squeeze inside? If they're overlapped, he'll be all right. But look at the boat speed build on the Kiwi boat. He's flying around the outside. Looks like Burling should cling on. It's going to be tight on the yellow line here.
There's a 10-kilometre-an-hour difference as they slingshot round the first leeward gate. We heard Ainsley say, stand by for an early tack. He confirms that call to the crew, and we see Ian Jensen sprint across the boat to set up to drive on the exit.
43. He's talking about the boat speed that he has there. They need to be travelling at 45 kilometres an hour to be able to look for a foiling tack, so it's important to look on that on the boat. That's the voice
as they go
of
through
Chris
gate number
Draper.
2, Japan now.
That's the voice of Chris Draper we're hearing here. He's talking to Nathan Outridge, talking about the speed he wants the boat to be going at, and they set up to tack. Touch and go. It's pretty rare we hear that in these boats. That means Nathan knew the boat wasn't fast enough. He's got to put it in the water. As you can see, that hull on the right-hand side, it's in the water, like the Kiwi boat on screen now. Who can get on the foil quickest? Build the speed, ease the foil up, lift the boat out of the water.
So Japan currently in 3rd. They went around Mark 1 in 4th, and they did pretty well to get to Mark 1 in 4th, because with 10 seconds to go until the start gun, they were getting held out and didn't look in a great spot.
But look at that, we've had a split. First bloke to tack was Ben Ainsley. He's heading back towards Saint-Tropez, but the wind looks like it's turning right. Ben Ainsley could have found a shorter distance up this course. When they come back together, he'll be on starboard tack, and if it's close, he'll have the right of way.
So this is the case of pressure versus shift. The wind is bending to the right-hand side, which means if you get out to the right-hand side of the course, you can really make hay when the sun shines. They're going over to gain on that shift. and taking the lead off the Kiwis.
And right now it is Great Britain with that slight lead. New Zealand in second, Japan, then France. The USA mired back in 6th place right now. So after a terrible start, they got some work to do. But Great Britain, Ben Ainslie, just like they did in practice yesterday, finding the faster portion of the course, and they have the lead now on leg 3 of 6.
Look, that's a big change. That's a 120-metre gain from Ben Ainslie there. He was 60 metres behind halfway down the first downwind, but he's now in the league. And Nathan Outridge, light wind specialist, he's found some great boat speed here, and he's making the gains.
I'm coming back in. And rudder if you can. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Get through this pump.
Luke Parkinson talking to Ben Ainslie. Luke Parkinson's normally the flight controller, and he's just trying to help Ben Ainslie there with some suggestions of some little changes while he works hard on the grinder handles.
So the fleet follows at the moment. No one will lay if we don't lay.
That is the voice of Luke Parkinson. When you're talking about a sailing all-rounder, this guy fits the bill. He is the flight controller. He's one of the fittest grinders I've ever sailed with, and he's chipping in with the tactics there.
And a round-the-world yachtsman as well, winner of the round-the-world race. Done it all, Luke
And Japan
Parkinson.
now moving into 2nd place. So New Zealand, to Freddie's point, unable to hold that lead. They've dropped from 1st back to 3rd place. The Americans have dropped from 6th to 7th.
Japan won't lay. Kiwis might. Stand by.
Okay, so that's the voice of Luke Parkinson. He's talking about laying. What does that mean? That means with no more manoeuvres, we can make the mark. There's been a wind shift. That means the New Zealand boat have found a tighter angle. They can progress up the course a bit quicker, but it looks like they've run out of wind. Nathan Outridge at 40 kilometres an hour. Ben Ainslie at just 23, but he's already heading towards gate number 3. No more manoeuvres required to get round this gate. Can the Kiwis stay on the foils and sneak round, closing this gap down?
Maybe the Kiwi.
We're talking about pressure versus shift, and the British team made their gain on this upwind by the right-hand shift, but there is now less wind on the right-hand side of the course where the British are heading. The New Zealand team are going to the best breeze on the left side.
So as they make their way through this gate, it is still Great Britain out in front, and look like the Kiwis are starting to gain on them. So closing the gap, New Zealand now takes a slight lead over Great Britain. Japan in 3rd place. Big surprise for me, guys, is Australia sitting in 8th. After what they did in practice yesterday, we're hearing that they had some problems at the pre-start, so did not get the best start, what Tom Slingsby is accustomed to.
That was the voice of Nathan Outridge there, just saying, look, Ben Ainslie's jibe soon. We might need to jibe soon as well. You've got to use all the clues you can on the course.
Here's leg 3 summary, the last upwind. Look at the 2.6 kilometres sailed by the British. That is the right shift and the tactical gain they made.
But only 2 maneuvers by the Kiwis, so they make up ground going from 3rd now into 1st place, and they trade positions with Great Britain constantly as we listen to Ben Ainslie.
That's right, if they can get to ley line, that's great news for the British. You can minimise those manoeuvres. It's always the question of, do we sail fast or do we sail a shorter distance? And at the moment, Ben Ainslie, well, he made the right call at gate number 3, and he's now in the lead, 150 metres ahead at New Zealand. Close with Japan here. Tight moment in the race here. Japan must keep clear. Oh, that was tight. Nathan Outridge, the wind whisperer, up into 2nd place. Loves these light winds. What can he do?
And look at the speed on Japan, 53 kilometers an hour as Great Britain drops down to 40. New Zealand starting to build back up into the 50s. Remember, it's down to this next gate, then upwind, and then the blast into the finish line.
A penalty, France. Boundary penalty, France.
Oh, and an unforced error for Billy Basson in France, currently sitting in 4th.
Man, France just sail around with their penalty light on constantly. They are the team that is always getting penalties and an unforced error by sailing off the pitch.
And how are you a penalty magnet in home waters?
Well, you'd have thought they'd know their way around here, wouldn't you, the French guys? But clearly pushing their luck. Maybe thought the umpires would be on their side, but not to be.
So the penalty is gone, and it's back on for France.
So they lost that penalty by sailing slower than their optimum speed. They lose 2 boat lengths of distance relative to the boats ahead, but they're a long way behind Great Britain at gate 4 as Ben Ainslie. It's a masterful display on this downwind leg. Found good wind, and he's heading back towards that right-hand side that's done him well so far in the race, Freddie.
So Ben Ainslie showing that He can certainly race with just 3 on board, down from the traditional 5. It is Japan that has now moved into second place, carrying a lot of speed here at gate 4.
They stuffed the bow underwater a little bit though. Slight mistake from Outridge around there, but tactically good downwind leg. Keen for an early tack, and the Kiwis, they're going to split the course, turning right at the bottom here. It's an opportunity to find more wind on a different side of the course. Could be a gain, but it could be a loss. Have they picked it right?
Is anyone else just a little bit excited about a potential GBR Japan Windward Mark coming together?
I think we're all looking forward to that, aren't we? Will Nathan Outridge take a dive again? That's the question. But here we go. Burling and Took, well, they're sailing the boat well. 40 seconds behind at gate 4. That's a big loss from leading at gate number 3. What can they do on this upwind leg?
And now you've got traffic as the boat's coming down, like USA, France, Spain, and Australia in the mist, as Great Britain way out in front with Japan in second and New Zealand in chase as we go on board with the Brits.
That's the voice of Luke Parkinson again. And Ben Ainsley there, hooked up into a righty. That means the winds turn to the right. Should mean they can sail a shorter distance up this leg and progress to the next gate fastest. Fine upwind leg here, guys. Not a lot left of this race.
So the lead almost 200 meters right now, first to second place, as Japan has slowed considerably. Look at the speeds, 41 plus kilometers an hour for the Brits and just around 30 for Japan.
As soon as you tack and fall off the foils, it can be really costly. And the British are foiling fast, but Burling is foiling. Outridge is just up on the foils in second place as the British now. They make one more tack here to try and stay with their opposition, but at the moment, they're in a comfortable position.
And the numbers you can see next to the nationality flags are their ride height, and you could see the British number go down to minus 0.1 as they crashed out the air. What you're looking for in that number is as close to 1 meter as possible, as the Japanese just touched it there. That is optimum foiling height.
Well, and it's interesting there to see the Australian crew still in 8th place this late on in the race. Their main rival, Ben Ainsley, and the British crew stretching out ahead. And in the background, Japan versus New Zealand. That's going to be a real race to the finish here.
So Australia, the winners of the last event in Denmark. They are the defending champions of SailGP. Right now they find themselves in last place. The battle is up front. Great Britain with the lead. New Zealand is second, and Japan in a tight battle in third.
This is the umpire's boundary penalty, New Zealand boundary.
Oh, New Zealand hit with a boundary penalty.
Wow, that's a big, big call there. New Zealand need to lose boat lengths of distance relative to Japan here to get rid of that penalty. But at this stage in the race, they only had 10 meters advantage. They will be behind Japan.
And the boat position Mark 1 to now New Zealand fulfilling their prophecy of being great starters and falling back through the fleet. And the Japanese are the form boat at sailing through the fleet.
Guys, let's not forget, this is a big race win for Great Britain. There's 2 more still to go. Not sure exactly what the wind's going to do. It was projected to be lighter than this, so this has got to be amazing to put these points in the bank for Great Britain, already with a win as they build to the top 3 with just about 300 meters to go for the win.
There's the finish line to the left of the screen. Ben Ainsley's right up under the Saint-Tropez shoreline here. There's not a lot of wind, but look at that. Oh, they've just nursed it up onto the foils. Boat skimming. Is it going to pop up to get them there? That should mean they're safe right now. It's light winds at this finish line, but Ben Ainsley, what a job.
Race number 1 goes the way of Great Britain SailGP and Saint-Tropez. Light winds, and Ben Ainsley and the 3-man crew get the victory. And look at this. They've almost come to a standstill as Japan has moved into second place ahead of Pete Burling and New Zealand.
Oh, he's going in there. Oh, don't go in there, New Zealand, surely.
Don't mess with Nathan Outridge at a windward mark. That could be a big, big mistake. That penalty costly for Japan. What are the umpires going to make of that? Who can first pop on the foot? Who can pop on the foil first here? It looks tight. It looks like the Japanese are first up. Wow, that was tight. And the Spanish in the background.
Phil Robertson in Spain coming into view. Can they sneak underneath the Kiwis and steal third place.
I think it's going to be hard for New Zealand from here if they can't fly in this lighter wind. Philip Robson's done a great job on that upwind leg, keeping the boat fast. It's going to be tight.
So
New
Japan's
Zealand-
going to take second place, and look at this, Phil Robertson. We've got contact coming.
Oh, Peter Burling must stay clear. It was an aggressive move by Robertson, the match race world champion. Penalty New Zealand
Penalty
again.
New Zealand, windward boat not keeping clear. Penalty clear.
Wow.
Oh my word, the penalty clear as the Spanish have passed, but it's third for Robertson and Burling. Well, what a last few minutes in the race.
So they go from first to fourth, looking around to make sure they're not going to lose another position.
Boy, oh boy.
That got interesting.
The last reach is quite often a procession, not today.
And here comes Jimmy Spithill cruising in. So Spithill, trying to close the gap and limit his damages, will come in fifth place for the Americans. That was better than they were mired just seventh about 10 minutes ago. They'll take those points and look to improve upon that in race 2. Denmark will come in sixth place. And big surprise for me, guys, to see France and Australia at the back of the pack.
Well, yeah, Australia had an absolute shocker of a start. They were down at the pin end, the favoured end of the line, but they were too thin on the lay line, low speed, and when their gun went, they were doing about 10 kilometres an hour.
So the race has been terminated on time. Great Britain has won the first race of 3 scheduled for today's France Sail Grand Prix, day 1 here in Saint-Tropez. Everyone thought the winds would be light. Freddie, I got to feel pretty good. They're seeing what they're seeing out there because they're getting a chance to get the boats up and foiling.